Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestick.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. If you're listening to this conversation on any of our audio platforms, give us a 5-star rating. Download this episode and more episodes, and we really appreciate it. I am excited because my next guest is the queen of the bump. Her latest album, Algorithm, is scheduled to drop on July 7th, 2023. And as of this recording, she has over 33,400 Instagram followers. Please help me welcome WOWASHWOW.
Wow, Jake, that was an amazing intro. I was like, wow, who is she? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hey, guys, how is everyone?
We're doing good. Thank you so much for coming today and taking time out of your schedule to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here to chat with you and all of your audience about the album and just, whatever else vibe that comes up.
Absolutely. So let's get started. We always start off with this, which is basically your origin story. So when did you get interested in performing, and how did that passion involve your desire to pursue a career in the music industry?
Yeah, okay. Wow. So my passion for music and performing has, it's pretty much started since I was a small child. My very first stage performance, I was 5 years old. And it was at the 4-H County State Fair, and I sang Diana Ross, Reach Out and Touch, and I actually won first place for that competition. But I remember when I went there to perform, my mom was so nervous, and my grandmother, she was nervous, and I was the only one there. It's just like, all right, let's do this. And the announcer, the host, was trying to say my name, and I was so excited that as he was talking, I was taking the microphone out of his hand to just be like, let's go, hit it. And yeah, from that moment there, that sort of created my love and passion for performing and being on stage, because I've always sort of felt at home doing that. So then as a child, I grew up in singing gospel music in the church, and I actually used to go around and do my own tours and everything, and just have me and my selection of karaoke gospel songs, and my mom would set up the karaoke machine in the background and put the microphone up to it to amplify it. My mom was the sound man and the manager and also the stylist and everything, not by her choice though. She was I was just like, Mom, I need you to do this. I need you to hold the mic. Also need a dress. I also need this. I also need that. And she was just like, okay, cool. I support it. So yeah, I, did concerts and stuff throughout that age. And then I discovered punk rock and rock and roll music, and I discovered Nirvana, and that immediately turns my love into discovering rock and roll music. And that's when I started playing guitar, and from age 13 till I was probably about 17 or 18 before I went to college. I played in a punk rock band. I played on lead guitar and had a drummer and a bass player. And then when I moved to New York, that's when I discovered the New York City ballroom scene, and also the underground hip hop scene, and just watching the artistry from both of these communities. It inspired me so much to sort of create and cultivate the sound that I've had. So I've been influenced by so many different things, but that's sort of my origin story, from gospel to straight up rock and roll and punk rock to then moving into like more of the pop sort of like disco-esque era meets like hip-hop formula, because my sound doesn't really have like a particular genre. It's kind of like an amalgamation of everything that I've loved and that influences me as an artist growing up.
That's incredible, because the thing is, I was about ready to ask you about your sound, because do you have like, it sounds like you got a lot of musical genres, but like, is there any specific, like any recording artist that inspired your sound?
Oh my gosh, Jake, that's a really, really hard one, because there's no like one set artist that I'm just like, oh, okay, them. I look at artists and break them down in like categories of like artists that I admire. Like, so for performance wise, like a live show performance, like obviously, you know, there's like Tina Turner, there's Beyonce, you know, there is Michael Jackson, like Prince. These are Queen. Like, these are people that put on like those amazing like just shows and stuff that really, really like move people and like change their lives and like create, you know, other artists like me that are inspired when they see them perform, because they've like moved the crowd and audience so much. So like I have it broken down like that. And then when it comes to just like actual like musicality and like just music composition and stuff, then there's like Pharrell and like Frank Zappa, and then also a little bit of like, you know, thinking of like classical stuff as well. And then hip hop, Joey Badass, absolutely love him. Nicki Minaj, absolutely love her. Doja Cat is dope. So it goes all over the place. I really like that. I really have no type when it comes to music. Just things that I hear it and it like hits my soul. Then, yeah.
I think those are all great answers. I definitely think so. Like, God bless Tina Turner. That was just a sad. I'm like, so I'm glad that we got to listen. I got to see her performance on YouTube, but like, I should have seen her on her final show in Kansas City back in 2008.
I would have, you know, what I would have given to like see Tina Turner perform live. Like, uh she's been such an icon and an idol to me since like a small child. I love her so much.
I gotta say, it's like she put artists on the map regarding like showmanship, because Tina's shows are like second to none, and I don't think you would have like successful shows from like a Janet or a Beyonce or even a Gaga and a Pink without Tina.
Yeah, you're completely right about that. She is literally like one of the queens of rock and roll who started putting on like shows of that magnitude and putting on having production and performance and just like very just high quality everything, but as a female performance artist. And you're right, you know, she paved the way for artists such as like Beyonce and, you know, Pink, Madonna, Britney, like literally all of them. Between like her and Cher, I feel.
Yeah, I agree too, because did
Yeah.
you ever see that 2008 episode of Oprah where she had both Cher and Tina together in Vegas?
No, I did not, but I'm gonna definitely like check that out on YouTube.
It's amazing, because they're both like it all started when one of Oprah's producers found a clip of Cher and Tina performing in the 70s together. And Oprah decided, well, let's do something in Vegas to coincide with Cher's show at Caesar's Palace.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
It's
check that out.
it's one of my favorite episodes of daytime television ever, and one of my all-time favorite Oprah episodes.
I love that. And I also love Oprah, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Absolutely. Go find on YouTube. Just type in Oprah, Cher, Tina Turner.
What a combination. I can't forget that. Oprah, Cher, Tina Turner. Got it. Go.
All righty. Wow, Ashwell, I'm sorry. We're here to talk about you, not about all those three.
Listen, we can talk about those queens all day, and I'm completely okay with it.
All righty. But however, you have opened for two kings. One named
Yes.
Snoop Dogg and one named Travis Barker. So what were some of
Yes.
the lessons that you learned that helped you grow as a performer?
So opening up for them, some of the lessons that I learned, just to scheduling and being on time and stuff for things, and just really, really understanding, like, as an artist, how things work on a grand scale when you're doing a show of that magnitude. You sort of, just make sure you're following schedule and you're on time, and, you don't you get shuffled about a bit, and sound check takes a very long time, but sound check is crucial and very, very important. And yeah, I actually have a very funny story about that show. I was almost late to my own performance.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So the band was already on stage and they were already warming up, and I was still in the middle of hair and makeup had run late, and then my team was still sort of pinning my costume on me because I had this pink sparkly jumpsuit, and then under that jumpsuit I had this cape that was underneath it. So I'm just looking like an Amazon Barbie running the so yeah, that took time, and we were a little bit late. And so I remember, for some reason, the artist entrance from where I was supposed to enter, they had it blocked off and they wouldn't allow us to enter. So
That's crazy. You're the opening act.
They wouldn't allow us to enter, and I'm like, and I'm pointing to the LED sign that says WOWASHWOW, and I'm like, sir, that's literally my name, please, please let me in. And he's just like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, I've got to get there. So they drive around to the front of the casino, and I'm sure that it was just a sight to behold, because I booked it. I was running in these 8-inch platform heels with a long cape behind me. My manager and my hairstylist, they're holding the cape so it's just flying out in the back. And I literally look like Queen Victoria and Superwoman at the same time, just running. And then I get there and the security guard stops me to be like, security check, we have to check security. And I start to hear the band play the opening song, and I'm like, oh my god. So I literally did this whirlwind spin move around security, ran past him, and was like, sorry, I gotta get on stage, you can check me later.
I gotta say, those security people, and really at those venues, really need to have a list of people to say you need to be approved to get in, or at least have their IDs or anything and photos, because that doesn't make sense that you had to go rush in, act parade around, rush across the casino with onlookers watching, and then being denied entrance and trying to work your way around. They could have handed you the mic and said, okay, I'm going to walk into the stage like a badass and go all the way to the stage, walking me through the audience with security around, of course.
And then, no, that didn't happen. They were just like, we got to check you. And I'm like, I don't have time. Bye. And just literally ran past them, ran past the audience. He was like, oh my God, it's WOWASHWOW. I'm like, hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. I got to get on stage. The music has started. And then I run backstage, And by that time, like from the entrance to where the actual venue was, it was a quarter mile. It was a quarter mile, Jake, and I was
Wow.
running. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, obviously I'm huffing and puffing and I'm like, huh, huh. And they're like, it's okay. You have like a minute to like catch your breath. The band is vamping. And the sound guy goes, and I'm like, okay, thank you so much. I just literally need 30 seconds to catch my breath. And they're like, yeah, no problem. And then like the event planner or like the person that's like running the whole thing, she like walks down with the microphone and goes, ready, here you go. And I'm like, and I'm literally like this, Jake, I'm just like, hello, Las Vegas. And like, run on stage and perform my butt off. And like all of my music is very, very high energy. So I just like, I do the first song, I do the second song, because the way how we had it done, it was a medley back to back. And then like during the end of like the second song, I literally turned to the bass player and I said, I need you to vamp, dude. I'm out of breath and I gotta catch my breath. Play something. And he's like, I got you, dude. And he's like, vamp. And like, and so they start vamping and I'm able to just sort of like, you know, talk and interact with the audience, but like obviously like use that to like slow my breath down so that I could go into the next high energy song and like keep the like set going. And you know, yeah, everyone's like, girl, we had no idea you were out of breath. I was like, I didn't catch my breath was gone like an hour ago. Like, like my breath left my body, Jake, like an hour ago when I was running through the casino like
All
a
right.
crazy woman.
But that's an incredible story. I think that a lot of people would know that. And also, I gotta say, kudos for you from running across that quarter mile in those heels and then
Yes.
doing high energy set, because I wouldn't be able to do that if you paid me.
Well, they did pay me, so I had to. So the check cleared and I wasn't giving it back. So, you know, the show must go on.
Absolutely, show must go on. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you faced breaking into the industry and staying active in the industry, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, you know, it's tough because I am still an independent artist. I'm not signed to a label or anything. So, you know, right then and there, in terms of being able to um, compete, um, it's not even that I would necessarily call it a challenge or an obstacle, but it's just right now I call them workarounds, Jake. Like, you know, the budget may not necessarily be there or be like what it is to compete with like a major label who has millions of dollars, but you know, we figure out the workarounds of how can we take the finances and the budget that we have and create something that's beautiful and artistic and that honestly can stand and compete against a major label that's spent like millions of dollars and stuff like that. And I'm blessed that I have an amazing, amazing team. Shout out to Beautiful Voodoo Visuals. Hi, Mitch. Hi, Gary. Um, that, you know, they really, really, since day one of me starting, because I'm going into like my third year, Jake, of really um, pushing it as an artist consistently, because before then like I was doing stuff with the band or I was making a song here or there, but I never really like um pushed it the way how I knew that I could. And honestly it took like believing in myself the way how I knew that I could push my music. And so I've been doing that consistently and truly believing in the craft and just continuously working and trying to perfect my craft for it's now going on like 3 years. And the progress has been immense. So I don't even really see it as like challenges or obstacles or anything. It's just necessary. It's just workarounds for right now, because those challenges that present to me as an independent artist, they might be challenges now, but like a year from now, with like the progress and the way how we're pushing and, you know, the art that we're creating and putting out there into the world, a year from now things will be different, and you know, we'll have a whole new set of fun workarounds and things to deal with, and keep growing from there.
Absolutely. It's amazing because not always it got everyone looks like someone like a Bieber or like a Gaga or even like the greats like the great Miss Aretha Franklin or Ray Charles and Elton John and Billy Joel and Barbara Streisand. It took them years to get to their status icon.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, it's not something that happens overnight. And, you know, there are a lot of artists where it seems like they pop up overnight. Um, but even with them, you know, chances are they may have popped up on your radar overnight, but they were probably working really hard. Like, that's one thing that I can say about like this industry. Like, anyone who has been a part of it or that's doing it on a, you know, professional level, or aspiring professional level, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of sacrifice and dedication to it. So, you know, even those people that they say, oh, they just popped up overnight, and like, well, no, they put and invested some work before they popped up. Like, it took, you know, a couple of things.
Absolutely. And here's the thing with me is I look at some of my heroes like the late Regis Philbin and Barbara Walters who are in their 80s when they retired or stepped down from their roles. But they had almost a 50-year careers respectively. And it's the thing is I rather be with our generation, it feels like you're either hot in the pan or you want to have a legacy. I want to be those that have a legacy. And I've been doing this to become my sophomore like of journalism since my sophomore year at University of Colorado Boulder. So I've been at this for almost 15 years.
Yeah, that's amazing, you know, and you are creating um, a legacy, and that is the sort of career that I want to have. I want to have a career that, you know, one day, 20, 30, 40 years from now, there is some artist who is just like myself, who is like, I was really influenced by WOWASHWOW and the things that she created, and she's the reason why, like, I'm making music, because I just loved her style and flow, and like, to me, I feel is more of an accomplishment than, you know, any sort of accolade that you can get, or um, any, you know, obviously, like, the money is nice, like, don't get me wrong, but you know, apart from that, creating things that like touch the soul, that is what we do it for, and at least that's why I do it, is to like touch the soul a little bit.
And what I do is I want to have those conversations people aren't having or start conversations people are having so people that we could catch up and just do and showcase people's origin story because everyone has a story. And also not to mention the fact that yes, it'd be great to have the money and everything, the finances, but I just want to be happy and be able to help inspire other journalists and also highlight other people who are doing great work.
Exactly. You're so right.
Absolutely. So would love to learn some of the stories behind your songs. So I took a couple of them, and I would love to go over some of them with you.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let's start with class enrollment. As of this recording, it has over 4,700 Spotify streams.
Yes. So class enrollment, I that has an affinity to my heart, because that was written in the studio, and that was sort of the epitome of me creating and cultivating like my sound as an artist. So that song is very near and dear to my heart. But the way how it started is I was in the studio with my producer. Shout out to Sam J. Garfield. Hi, Sam. Um, and I actually was getting into a heated discussion with, you know, a now friend, now moved to associate of mine. Um, and they were just saying some things that, made me feel um, very low in my self value and worth as a person. And it wasn't things that it was like, oh, this is very cathartic or this is like constructive criticism that I need to take in to make me a better person. It was just like straight up kind of hurtful. And I was like, you know what? Like, no, since you have all these things to say, well, then it's time for me to like read you classes in session. So that's, where that whole hook calls like reading these called class enrollment. Um, and yeah, that's how that song was created.
Very interesting. That's a really interesting story. And those of you, and also it's a perfect example, don't get on anyone's bad side. Treat everybody in your respective industry with niceness.
Yeah. I'll never say anyone's name directly in a song, but if I'm feeling the vibe and the energy and I'm really, really affected by like what the situation is, whether it be good or bad, I'll write about it for sure, because that's what inspires me is the life around me.
Alrighty, I'm going to try this title, but I apologize. But please don't cancel me if I get it wrong.
Okay.
I can spell it this way because I do not want YouTube to demonetize me whatsoever or lock me out of a partnership.
P Power.
Yes, P Power. Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much for saving me. WOWASHWOW.
Yes.
So currently it has over 50,000, the music video has over 50,000 views on YouTube and over 23.3 thousand Spotify streams as of this recording.
Yes. So P Power, the reason why I called it, number one, like it, using that title and phrase, obviously it creates some level of like shock value for people because they immediately see it and go, oh my God, she said meow power. And I wanted to, create, less of a destigmatize using that word, and then also sort of really honing in like the power of like just woman in general. Like there has been a lot of wars and just things that have been created, started, and painted after just the power of a woman. So this song, it really, really highlights that in sort of like a very ratchet way. But it sort of just highlights the power of like femininity and being able to like get whatever the hell you want.
Absolutely, that's a great song. But however, the song that I loved very much that got you on my radar was "Hustle Hard" featuring the Heaping Teaspoons, which was a Tiny Desk 2023 nomination. That is a fireball song.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was actually like my very first song that I wrote when I decided that I wanted to like blend hip hop and funk and stuff, because at that time I was writing just strictly like rock and roll and kind of like folk-esque music. And when I said, all right, like hip hop and funk, like that's in my soul and this is what I do. Hustle Hard was the very first song that I wrote. So I appreciate you saying that.
You're so welcome. And guys, you can read my review on Hustle Hard on jakes-shake.com after this conversation. So rounding up is Rick Ross, and the song has 38,000 Spotify streams.
Yes. So once again, it's a lot of my songs that I write, which I'm sure that you'll have noticed the theme. They really, really deal with like confidence. and feeling empowered. And, you know, when you put my music on, especially like Rick Ross, I call that because, you know, I want you to sort of, especially like um, when you're feeling like down, when you're not feeling so confident, I just sort of want you to like embody, like Rick Ross has very big energy and it's like larger than life, like just confidence that exudes when you see him on the screen, when you hear his rapping or anything like that. And so that is like the energy that I want people to sort of take in and feel is just like, I got this, like I can do this. And that is how like Rick Ross, you know, got started. It's just like, you know, check the nails, check the fit, like, you know, from top to bottom, like you're a star, baby, and embrace that.
It's an incredible song, and I gotta say, hopefully, the man himself listens to it.
Yeah, that would be really funny if he did listen to it. It is in his namesake. So, and it was actually when I moved here to LA and 3 years ago started just, you know, my entire career as an artist out here. That was the very first song that I wrote, very first like music video that I shot and everything. And I've just been going since then.
Amazing. Now you've kept going, and now you're here. It's the algorithm is coming out on July 7th, as I said it before in the introduction. So, how long did it take you to create this album from inception to release?
Yeah, wow. I started working on the album back in last year of early, like late August, early September with Sam J. Garfield. And it was literally just my producer and I. I remember my very first time meeting him. We sat down and had just like a long chat for about like 4 to 6 hours about life and like my life and you know, talked about music and everything, but more so just like um, talked about what was going on in my life at that point in time. And then after we had that chat, within like maybe 10 seconds, he had started to like formulate and create this song. And like it just literally hit my soul and like made the palms get sweaty. And I was like, holy crap, like this is it. And then I just started writing from there. And um, from that moment, we just started making song after song after song after song. And I was like, and they all just flowed together and had like this natural order. And it was like, holy crap, man, like we are making an album. Like, because at first it was just like, let's just make a song or let's just make like one or two songs. And then it just, you know, grew from there and kept going and going and going and going. And then the next thing you know, we have an album and we've released singles off of it. And then, you know, now it's in like distribution, and it just went into distribution early this June. So from last year, late August until June, the entire like album itself, from like cover and everything, finally got shot, completed, and finalized. So yeah.
That must be an incredible journey, because I gotta say, it's going to be one fire out of an album.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey writing this. One of the reasons why I called it the algorithm is because me as an artist, I had started to like veer away from why I make music and why I create in the first place, and that is A, to make me happy, but then B, to like also, you know, touch people and like make other souls feel happy. And I was so concerned about what was the algorithm going to say? Like, are these songs like good for TikTok? Is this song good for like is this? And instead of like worrying, you know, it's like instead of me turning into like this sort of AI musical robot where I'm just trying to crank out things that I think, this app is going to like and like push to people so that they notice me. Like, just make your art, girl. Like, make your art, and the people that are meant to notice it, they're going to notice it and go from there.
Absolutely. And the thing is, don't worry. It's if Sarah, don't worry if don't worry about the 1 or 2% that don't get you. Worry about the 98% or 99% that do.
Exactly. And that is, once I embrace that, that is how you got the algorithm. Because I'm like, the people that hear this album, the people that are going to vibe with it, they're going to get it. And like, I understand and know that like my music is not for everybody. Like, even though it's like tough to say, like, not everybody loves Beyonce's music, even though I don't understand, like, I don't get it, like, they're crazy. But, not everyone is a Beyonce fan, and that's completely okay. So as an artist, one of the things that we have to kind of do is get over our sort of ego that we have over, like, no, girl, like, not everyone's gonna love your music, and that's okay. But the people that do, like, this is for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we gotta start winding down our interview, and if you have a chance to meet with other recording artists who are just breaking into or just have a couple of years behind their belts and want to advance their careers, what advice would you share with that?
Consistency, and the power of developing a great team, which takes time. Like, it's not going to be overnight that you're going to be able to, like, boom, I have a team. Like, it was truly a growth process for me. It started out with just me and, like, my makeup artist, and then, like, me, my makeup artist, and, like, her teammate at the time, they wanted to, like, start a production company and just, like, work on projects. It wasn't even a production company. They just wanted to work on projects together. And I was able to say, like, hey, guys, can we all collaborate and just, like, make something together? And then from there, it sort of just has grown and grown and grown. So, being able to, especially when you're independent and first coming out, you're so used to doing everything yourself. But being okay with allowing some of your creative control to go towards others that can help your vision come to life even better than what you would have been ever able to do, because they have the skill set to, like, help your vision come to life. And then also consistency, Jake. Waking up and pushing towards your goals, your dreams, and the things that you want to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And even when it's tough. Like, and trust me, like, some days it's very, very tough to, like, keep doing it. But, when you are a part of something that you really love and you're doing something that is truly in your heart, it doesn't feel like work, and you just keep going.
Awesome. Amen to that. So awesome. So last question. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Where can my audience find your music? And if you're on social media, where can it connect with you?
Yes. So you can find me absolutely everywhere on the music platforms. I'm on Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iHeartRadio. If you just put in WOWASHWOW, WOWASH, and then also on all social media platforms. But you can find everything on WOWASHWOW.com, which will have a link to all the socials and all the music platforms. But if not, I'm on TikTok and Insta and also Twitter as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, guys, have you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast? Visit our channels on Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Want to know what's going on with America's Got Talent? Missed the last couple seasons of The Masked Singer. Want to find my music reviews with takes on WOWASHWOW and more? Head to jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. WOWASHWOW. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on your show, Jake. I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for listening and have a great one, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Right. Take care.